Hello, PUC School students. My name is Dannielle Lewis. I am a third-year inside Wireman apprentice with IBEW. In high school, I wanted to be a real estate agent, which is, I know, kind of weird. Well, it's close to what I do now, but it's just because that's what I saw a lot of women in real estate. It looked fun. They got to wear great outfits and host parties and events. And talk to people. And I thought that was cool. An overview of my career journey would be I went to college, I went to school for digital media, and that's what I was originally studying. No, digital media management. And I went into real estate after that, which is like a weird jump. But I was working with apartments and multifamily units, so big apartment buildings. I started off being a leasing agent, worked up to a community manager. And then from there, I went to work for a real estate company or REIT. They bought and sold apartment communities. So I went through the whole journey of that side of multifamily. And I ended up meeting some of the electricians or tradespeople that were doing some of the new construction buildings that I was working on through real estate. Got to talk to them, got to kind of hang out with them. And I'd always had an affinity for building and creating. I was always trying to take stuff apart, always the one who wanted to make something, all the IKEA furniture, I was that girl. I really enjoyed that. And I feel like I never got the opportunity to grow that side of myself or really develop that. And after talking with them, I really felt like I wanted to get out of the office and do something different. And I was in like kind of a lull, or kind of a stuck place at work. I was progressing as far as promotions and everything, and the money was good. But I really wanted to be outdoors. I really wanted to create something, have something to show at the end of the day that I could point to, I could look at. And I ended up coming across a pre-apprenticeship program. It's called Winter. It's Women in Non-Traditional Employment Roles. They offer opportunities to women who want to explore the trades. So they took me to a couple different unions, a couple different trades schools, and I ended up meeting a woman. Her name was Jane Templin at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBW. And she kind of took me under her wing, was like, you do very well with this. So I ended up coming to the school, the electrical trade school, and meeting some of the staff here. And they were really receptive and very encouraging. And I applied and went through the whole process of that and got in, and that's where I've been ever since. One of the best decisions I made. The required training to become electrician apprentice or inside wireman apprentice with the union or IBEW. We had to have at least a C or better in algebra from high school algebra. We also had to show our transcripts of that or have your GED, show proof of graduation. And for the union itself, they like to see that you're involved in volunteering and active in the community. So I had to show that, and that I was serious about getting into the trades and being in long-term. They want to know, what are your goals? What are your passions? What do you want to do? How are you going to be involved? How are you going to grow the union? The typical work structure for me is, it's a little complicated. As an apprentice, when I first started out, you have a lot of material handling, a lot of what they would consider kind of like grunt work, things you don't necessarily want to be doing, but it has a purpose. Especially when you're dealing with material, you have to know what you're using and why you're using it, where it's at, and how much of it you need. So there's a lot of that. And then as you show enthusiasm, as you show initiative, they start giving you more and more tasks. So right now I work with Metro on the Purple Line. That's a train station and it's underground. So daily responsibilities for that would just be seeing what we're doing for our layout or our plans. And as far as like putting up walls, running conduit, all of that, getting that together, making material lists, and then just following the blueprints for the build. That's pretty much what I do. Someone new to the electrical field or in our apprenticeship, they can expect to put in work. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. For me, a lot of people think electrician, they just think residential. So somebody who's going to your house, wiring a couple receptacles or putting up some lights. I'm more of a commercial electrician. So I'm big projects like high rises, train stations, all of that. So what you could expect when you first get in is it's going to be a lot of proving yourself, a lot of having people know, like, I'm serious about this and I want to grow, I want to do better. So it's a lot of hustle, a lot of fast pace, a lot of learning on the go, but it's exciting and it's fun. And you get to meet a lot of great people who work very hard. And then I think the best part is leaving each day and turning around and looking and be like, I built that. That was me. We did that. Yeah, I think that's something you can expect when you first get out there. I would say the very best or worst part of my job, I would say, let's start with the worst would be the elements. Sometimes you have to work when it's raining, when it's cold, when it's hot. My journeyman often tells me that your tools keep you warm. You have to be ready for that, but you still have to perform, you still have to show up. It's not your typical kind of 9 to 5. There's going to be some long hours, but you get paid very well. So when I get my check, and that keeps me warm at night, just snuggle up to my check. It's nice having that kind of job security. I would say the best part is the community. We're a brotherhood, a sisterhood. Everybody is out there working hard, and it really creates a lot of camaraderie, and you will find that they're there for you. Like, there's been moments in my life, I've gone through things, I've lost family members, especially with the COVID stuff. And my brothers and sisters were here for me. So I think that's one of the best things about my industry is you have someone to go to, you have some people to talk to, you have people to rally around you and help you get through your apprenticeship. The projected industry outlook for construction or for electricians is pretty good. Like with the passing of the infrastructure bill, it means that there is a lot of money that was already approved and in the process of being approved and will be approved in the future that's going towards infrastructure, and that's construction. That's what I do. So as far as having a job for the next 10 years, I know I'm good. Especially with the way our union is set up. Like, if you are a good worker and you're showing you're up every day, you're on time, you're dressed right, you have your tools, you're ready to go, you're eager, you will stay working. They will see that and they will recognize it, and they'll appreciate it and keep you working. So one of the actually nice protections that I have in my union is that I don't have to look for work, they look for it for me. So I go where they assign me, especially when you're an apprentice. So as long as I'm here and I'm ready to go and able-bodied, I'm working. An ideal candidate for someone who's looking to go into construction trades or join a union like International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I know that they're looking for people who are involved, not just at work, but also in their community. They're volunteering, they're giving back, they're supporting those around them. That's what they're looking for. They want you to be a well-rounded person, not just a worker. A lot of times what my journeyman often says is they're not looking for installers. They're looking for people who build and create. They want you to be thinking. You have to be someone who likes puzzles, who's a problem solver. And that's what this union wants. They want people who have the go-getter mentality. People who want to be successful, people who like some security, because that's what the union offers. If I could go back and speak to my 9th grade self career-wise, I would say get into the trade sooner. I would do it a lot sooner. I feel like I wish I knew about this when I was in high school or even younger. I mean, I had heard, the trades construction, but I didn't see a lot of women. I didn't see a lot of women like me in the trades or being talked to or even just shown like, hey, this is an option. It was very just go to college and that's it. I would have a lot less student loan debt right now. And I would be longer or further along in my career. I honestly wish I had gone this way or heard about the trades and been able to get into it a lot earlier. So if I was going to talk to myself, I would be like, don't do it, girl, go to the trades. So tips, advice, or resources that I would share. I would say explore your options. If there's something that you were even sort of interested, go check it out. Now is the time. Make your mistakes, try things, experiment while you can. Don't wait till you're older to chase after your dreams or to try something that you weren't that nobody else is doing. In my family, there aren't other women in trades, so I'm blazing the trail on that, and it's unfamiliar, and I can't always like explain to them what I'm doing because they don't understand it. But I love it, and I wouldn't regret it. I haven't regretted it. I wouldn't do anything different.
Hi, my name is Edmundo Delgadillo. I'm a general contractor, and I work in the general Los Angeles area. And hello, all of you PUC students. How are you? When I wanted to be as an adult in high school, I wanted to be an engineer or a police officer. I went to college right after high school. I went to Cal State Northridge, and I enrolled in some engineering classes, but then criminology caught my eye. So I actually have a degree in criminology under social, I think it's sociology. And I graduated in that field, and I was actually hired by school police. And I did that for very briefly, but I decided I didn't like it. And all throughout my youth, I worked with my dad. My dad was a mason. He worked construction. And so all my summers and just vacations and stuff, I worked with him. And so I gained experience in a couple of the construction areas. And so that really caught my eye, really had an interest in it. And at one point I decided I wanted to get my contractor's license to just further my goals in that field, in which I pursued and I did. In about 2002, I got my contractor's license. I started working for a bit, but then I got an opportunity with doing something totally different for a while. But then that particular industry didn't do so well. And so I came back to construction right around like 2009, 10. And so I've been doing construction work full time for about 15 years now. The required training in a position like mine, and currently I'm a general contractor. I own my own business, so you could say I'm the CEO and president of my own little company. There aren't any specific requirements. There is one license that you need to obtain to be a general contractor or a specialty contractor for that case, and it's through the state of California. It's through the Contractors License Board. It's a license that you need to acquire, and it requires that you obtain at least 5 years of journeyman level in construction, which means that, let's say if you're a framer, you stick build houses or apartments or buildings, you have to have 5 years of experience doing that particular job at a journeyman level. And it needs to be certified either through your payroll or through customers or through other contractors to the state. And once they verify that, they'll allow you to take a test. And the test implies two different sections. One is the law that they need you to learn and understand in order to carry out a business in construction, and the trades, which means they need to certify and verify that you understand and know the jobs that, for example, whether it's electrical or plumbing or framing, that you understand the basic concepts of what it takes to perform those tasks or jobs. Once you pass those, they will issue you a license so that you can start your business. But as far as education, one of the things that I've found is that, I was lucky enough to have had the opportunity to go to college, and I realized that every aspect of my education has come into play in construction. You wouldn't think of it, but even psychology plays a role because you deal with so many different people, and you deal with so many different situations in construction, that it helps to sort of understand where people are coming from and how they react to things and how to appropriately react back. Math is a hugely important aspect of construction. Many times when you're in geometry or you're in calculus, you think, when am I ever going to use this? Well, trust me, in construction, you will use it, especially geometry. So it's very important that you understand that you have to draw contracts. You have to put letters together. So you have to be well versed, and you have to look competent when you're putting these documents together. So it's very important that you also have the skill to put these documents together, and it really helps you to further your education beyond high school, even though it may not be a requirement to get your license and to start your business, but it will help you tremendously. It just carries you that much further. And so, just like I said, all other aspects of my education that I've had, I've put into use. And so without being repetitive, it's important that if you have the opportunity to further your education and you plan to go into construction, it will help you. Aside from that, there are courses that I know LAUSD in their adult education program does train electricians and carpenters and plumbers, as well as community colleges. You have to have some sort of experience in one of those trades to become a contractor. You can't just decide one day to do it without any of that experience. You have to obtain, like I said, at least 5 years of experience in that. So it does help out to also consider looking into those institutions and taking advantage of some of those courses that they offer. And then also, going around and looking into companies who might allow you to start as from the beginning and start acquiring some of that experience. And then after a while, you'll be able to get your license. So the typical hours, responsibilities, and work environment for me are, I typically get up at 5 in the morning so that I can get ready for work, and I have to be out so I can be at a job site before the employees start, which their typical start day is at 7 a.m. So I'll be at the job site to meet with them, to start talking about what needs to be done, see if they have any questions, and just, make sure that they have a good direction as to what needs to be done. Then after that, I'll fit in breakfast at some point there if I can. But then I'll probably meet with clients. I'll have to also maybe have to go to look for materials, purchase materials, make sure that those materials make it onto the site, and so on and so forth. The day usually ends for me about 5 or 6. There isn't a set time. When you have your own business and you're a contractor, you really cater to your customers. So you don't have a strict set of hours like maybe a plumber who's in the trade, who's a tradesman has. He may be working from 7 to 3, but as a business owner, as a contractor, I'll find myself sending emails at 10 at night. And it really depends on you. It depends how motivated you are and how far you want to get in, you want to further your business. And the more you put into it, the more you get back. If you're not motivated and you want to do the bare minimum, then you will probably get the bare minimum results in your business. But if the job requires you to put that extra time, that extra effort, it usually pays off. So typically, some of the responsibilities as well is a lot of the paperwork. I don't have a big company, so I don't have a big office staff. A lot of that paperwork needs to be completed by myself. So sometimes midday or at the end of the workday, I'll have to come back and sit in the office and make sure that I have all my paperwork in line, or a payroll, or I have to go out and do an estimate, read blueprints, put proposals together, invoice customers, things of that sort. Or I may even that day, somebody may not show up, one of the workers, and I have to fill in for them. So I have to put on my boots and get my tool belt and work as well. So I don't know if that kind of gives you guys a good sense of a regular day for me would be. But I guess the biggest point is that you're your own boss as a contractor. You set your schedule, and it really depends on how motivated you are and how much you want to accomplish. There's no one babysitting you. It really is dependent upon how much structure you put onto yourself. So when someone comes to the field as a new worker in construction, what you can expect is having to put, you may at first feel like the tasks are daunting. They might be somewhat hard to do. You may feel like you're a little lost, like overwhelmed by the amount of work. And it's like this in many, I've worked in other stuff other than construction, and I found that to be also the case. But you really have to want to do this. It's not for everybody. It is typically manually exhausting. It can be, but as you gain experience and you learn tricks of the trade, it gets easier. And it's very fulfilling because you see the accomplishments firsthand. It's not like you do something and it just goes on to the next person. You don't know where that went. You actually see the progress. But as a new person working in the construction field, it will require some patience. It will require effort, and it will require from you a sense of wanting to accomplish something, because it's not an easy thing. It will be hard at first, but with experience, things will become a lot easier. So as a general contractor, talking about the best parts of being a general contractor and the worst parts of being a general contractor, we'll start with the best parts. You are your own boss. You don't have anybody to answer to other than your clients. I mean, you do have to answer to your employees and that sort, but generally, you set your own schedule. And if something comes up next week and my family says, you know, we want to take this trip to the Bahamas, can you make it? It's really up to me whether I can make it or not, whether I want to or not. And you typically can arrange things here and there, and you can take the trip. You don't have to put in a 2-week request. If I don't want to work tomorrow because I want to celebrate my son's or daughter's birthday, as long as I feel like I've arranged everything and I've done responsibly done what I need to do, I can go take them to Disneyland if I want to. So I think that's the best part about it, other than it's also very fulfilling to see, you know, a house go up and build, you know, knowing that there was just land there and now there's a structure where people live in. That's also very satisfying. But in the same, I guess in the same row of what we're speaking about, it's the worst part of it is that you sometimes um, are not able to take time off because you want to, maybe you set your goal at a certain standard and you want to accomplish something. So now you find yourself working, you know, 12, 13, 14 hours a day. You're working Saturdays and Sundays. And, you know, like I said, at 11 o'clock at night, you're sending out emails. So it can't be, um, you know, hard on you. It can be stressful. There are things, it is one of those jobs where there are problems where you feel like there's nothing you can do, but yet you're still responsible for, whether you may have caused it or not, but you're still kind of the guy who needs to solve it. And I don't think people understand much or care to understand. They just want it fixed, and they don't really want to hear whether it was your fault or not. But you know, you're the guy in the business to fix it, so you have to do that. I think that's probably the worst part. Also, and I should, going back to one of the best parts is that if you know you put a lot of work into your business and you've carried it, you know, a good stretch, you typically become, you know, you're able to maybe afford a little more than if you're just a journeyman. And so you're able to maybe be a little more financially independent. It really depends. You know, I've known guys who have been in the construction business for a while who make quite a bit of money, and others who are just barely cutting it. But it does give you that opportunity. If you really want to go after it, you have the way to go after it. So, well, as far as the projected uh, viability of this industry, I can tell you that along with healthcare, it's one of those few jobs that I think it's going to take quite a while for the robots to take over it. So I think you would be safe if you go into the construction industry, at least for another generation. Construction is so versatile, and it takes so much to do things that I don't see them building that robot. They can just replace you. I think you would be safe. And just population is growing, and it's just going up and up, and people need homes to live in hospitals to occupy, and schools. So I don't see, you know, the industry heading in a downward trajectory. On the opposite, I think it's just going to go up. But it's sometimes because of economic times, because of recessions, it slows down, and I think that's normal. But overall, it's a growing industry. So I think it's actually one of the safest industries to go into. And now, with what we've been hearing with like Chat GPT, who can now replace so many people in certain industries. I don't see it replacing you in the construction industry. So, and it can be very profitable to be in the construction industry. I'll give you one example. Maybe it helps as encouragement. For example, somebody who's a cement finisher, and this is actual. I mean, we go through this every day. Somebody who's a cement finisher gets paid roughly about $300 for 4 hours of work, and many days they'll do two 4-hour shifts. So that's, if you do the math, I hope that encourages you to enter this industry. I fully think it really is something that will, once you're in it, and you'll see that you really like, but it can be hard. If I'm going to hire, the 5 things that I'm looking into an employee, one of them is a willingness to learn, honesty, punctuality is very important. I'm also looking for them to take responsibility, and also teamwork is huge. So those are the 5 big things that I look for in an employee. So if you're considering construction, and you want to be a general contractor, I do recommend you further your education, not just finish high school, but at the minimum, go to community college and do take advantage of courses in mathematics and English, and just more education broadens the way you view things, and especially in a business. It's hugely important. And so I do recommend, if you're able to, even through LAUSD adult education, there are courses that can prepare you to be a general contractor. There is even a course to take the state exam for a contractor's license. There are courses in safety. There are courses in certain trade fields like plumbing or electrical. And even if you don't plan to become a plumber, you don't plan to become an electrician, but want to become a general contractor, it helps. You have to know some basic knowledge about those trades. So I would recommend taking some of those courses. And then in community college, they offer sometimes similar things, and do brush up on your math. Get as much math as you can. You may think, why am I taking this? I'm never going to use it. Trust me, you'll use it. And also just other tips that I can recommend to you so you can become a contractor are, look up on, if not the internet, maybe on local papers, and try out to work, see if anybody's hiring around town, and maybe do it for the summer. It helps out a lot. You understand, it helps to, as a boss, as a general contractor, it helps to understand what the labor goes through, and what has to be done. And so that just that basic understanding of the hard work that it takes will help you out as well.
Okay, my name is Aaron Viveros. I work with Associated Builders and Contractors of Southern California. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator. My job at the school is to, or for the association, is to go around all of Southern California and promote our apprenticeship programs. So in high school, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do with my career. I knew that I liked working with tools. I liked to fix BMX bikes. I liked to work with my hands and take things apart and try to fix them at the time. So I knew that I wanted to do something with building or mechanics or something like that. At the time, at school, they only had offered me colleges, different colleges I could go to. But I knew since the beginning that I wanted to work with my hands and get into the building trades. So I found Associated Builders and Contractors of Southern California. They have state and federal approved apprenticeships, and they have 4 apprenticeship opportunities that you can take advantage of. They teach sheet metal, HVAC, low voltage, electrical, and plumbing. At the time, I ended up applying for ABC. I went through their electrical program. It was 4.5 years. And that was the foundation to the beginnings of my career and my successful career in construction. After I graduated from ABC, I was able to get my contractor's license, open my own business, doing electrical. But the school can provide so many career opportunities, not only in just electrical, but they offer different careers that many people could take advantage of. So all of the 4 trades that we offer at ABC SoCal, they require 4 to 4.5 years of education, and they also require 4 to 4.5 years of on-the-job learning. So students that leave from ABC not only get the schooling portion, but they do get their hands on the job learning out in the trade. So they get the best of both worlds. So someone beginning in the construction trades would probably be working about 40+ hours out in the field on a weekly basis. They would also be going to school. Out of the 4 trades we offer, most of the programs come 1 night a week for 4 hours once a week to school. And the rest of the time they are working out in the field. It's an earn while you learn program. So they're earning a great salary as well as getting their schooling done at the same time. So beginning into the construction trades, typical responsibilities of a first-year apprentice is probably running tools and materials, driving company trucks, material handling, a lot of the basic tasks until they get some experience into their trade. As they get more experience and excel and learn more about their skill or craft, they will be handed more responsibilities. So after they finish their apprenticeship program, they have a lot of opportunities, like I did, open my own business, or go into project management. There's all different types of avenues to excel their careers in construction. So entering an apprenticeship program, there's no experience required. They don't have to have any prior experience with tools or materials. When someone starts into an apprenticeship program, we teach them the basics. They get the OSHA safety, they learn first aid and CPR. The first 6 months of education at ABC is all safety. So they don't have to have a construction background to enter the program. Our program is designed to take somebody straight out of high school with no experience and turn them into a skilled craftsperson in 4 to 4.5 years. When somebody's in the construction trades, the value is priceless to go buy buildings and say, wow, I built that. Whether it's a retail store, a hospital, a school, a huge industrial warehouse, the satisfaction of knowing that you're building America and looking back at your projects, that is an incredible feeling. And to know that these buildings will be on probably long after we're here on this planet, but it's just great to be part of something bigger than ourselves. So in the construction trades, I can really say that the temperature sometimes you're working outside in the summer, or sometimes you're working indoors. And sometimes the air conditioning isn't on. So it's not always the most comfortable conditions, like working in an office. The travel, sometimes you have to be on the road, an hour, 2 hours each way to and from work, and maybe in traffic. So I think those are probably the temperature changes, waking up early in the morning, and traffic on the freeways are probably you know, a lot of people are kind of about. Currently, construction in general, we have a major gap between the skilled professionals that we have for many years in the trades and the new incoming professionals that we have. So a lot of people are retired in the construction industry, and we need people to fill those jobs. Right now, California and throughout the United States, we have a gap between the people that we need to enter the construction trades. So all over the country, apprenticeships are growing at a very steady rate, and there is a huge need for people in the construction industry. So there's no experience needed when you enter the construction trades. Some great things that I tell everybody to enter the trades is be willing to show up every day on time. That's the hardest thing for I think any job across the board is be reliable. That's number one. Being a reliable person, getting up in the morning, going to work, and being there on time are very important traits that you would need in the construction industry. And someone entering the construction trades and joining an apprenticeship program will have to have some type of reliable transportation. Construction, there's a lot of traveling. An apprentice with ABC SoCal might be traveling all throughout Southern California. So they would have to have a way to get to and from work and to the job sites on time every day. So if you want to enter the construction trades, if I could go back in time, and I know I was just talking to a class just recently, and I talked to many apprentices that are in their 30s and 40s, sometimes even 50s. And every time I talk to an apprentice, I hear the same thing. I wish somebody would have told me when I was in high school about this great opportunity to get into the building trades. And just take advantage, start early, and get your education done early so you can move and advance in that career or open your own business. So if anybody would like to become a plumber, electrician, sheet metal, low voltage technician, you can visit abcsocal.org. There's a lot of information there on everything that we do. There's applications that you can download and find out the requirements to enter the program. What's great about our programs is there's no tuition. Students get dental, medical, vision benefits, and retirement packages for them and their families. So what they don't have all they have to pay for when they enter ABC is for their books and tools. And it's a great opportunity to take advantage of to make a great living in California and to learn a skilled craft or trade that they can carry with them for the rest of their life. So if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to me directly. My email is Viveros, AVIVEROS @abcsocal.net, or visit our website at abcsocal.org. Thank you.